All right, welcome back to our Money Myths experiment. We are officially 8 weeks in, and you're not going to believe the results from this last month. We've had a massive comeback, and a totally new leader has emerged. So let's get right into it. So after 2 full months, how are our three contenders looking in this financial race? One has absolutely surged ahead, one is just holding steady, and one is, well, it's deep in the red. Who do you think is winning? Let's break it all down.
Now, for anyone who's just jumping in, here's a super quick recap of what we're doing. The rules couldn't be simpler. We're testing 3 totally different money strategies with real cash to see which one actually comes out on top. No theories, no guesswork, just real-world results. Okay, so every single fortnight, we take $50 and split it 3 ways. $50 goes to lottery tickets, another $50 gets invested into a share market ETF, and the final $50 is dropped into a high-interest savings account. It's the same amount of money at the exact same time, but on 3 very, very different paths. Let's kick things off with our highest risk player, the lottery. This is the one that's built completely on luck, right? It's all about that dream of a single life-changing win. And hey, this fortnight, we actually got another small win. We got $20.60 back from our tickets. It's always a fun little thrill to see some of that money come back, but the real question is, does it even make a dent in what we've spent so far? Well, here's the full picture. So far, we have spent a solid $200 on lottery tickets. And even with our couple of small wins, our total winnings are only $46.40. That puts us in a net negative position of over $150. Ouch. This really gets to the core of why people play the lottery. Despite the terrible odds, there's always that little voice of hope in the back of your head. We've played hundreds of games by now, and the thinking is pretty simple. The more you play, the more chances you have to win. The big question is, will that one lucky ticket ever actually show up? Okay, let's switch gears completely. We're going from high-risk hope to our most predictable and, well, reliable contender, the good old savings account. So after 8 weeks of just putting the money in, our balance is sitting at $200.51. It is exactly what you'd expect, right? It's our initial money plus a little extra. And that little extra is a grand total of 51 cents. Look, it's not going to set the world on fire. We're not retiring on this anytime soon, but it is guaranteed steady growth. This is the tortoise in the race, just slowly but surely ticking upwards. And now for what is easily the most dramatic story of this update. After a really rocky start last month, our investment in the share market has made an absolutely serious comeback. Just take a look at this. Our investment in the BetaShares GGUS ETF, which tracks a whole bunch of global companies, is now valued at $210.84. This is a massive turnaround. So, you're probably wondering, how on earth did this happen? I mean, just 1 month ago, this very same investment was down to $95. How did it not only recover, but actually surge into the lead? Well, the answer is in a really powerful, but actually very simple investment strategy. It's a strategy called dollar cost averaging, and it sounds kind of fancy, but really, it's designed to help investors get through those choppy market waters by basically taking the emotion and the guesswork out of the equation. So here's how it worked for us. By investing that same $50 every single fortnight, no matter what, we automatically bought more shares when the market was down last month. Then, as the market recovered, all those extra shares we bought on the cheap became way more valuable. This consistency is what helps smooth out the market's bumps. And this strategy really showed its power during a pretty shaky period. The market has been all over the place, with global events really rattling investor confidence. But instead of trying to time the market, guessing the highs and lows, we just stuck to the plan. And this disciplined approach is just a perfect lesson in long-term investing. So after 8 weeks of this whole experiment, where do our 3 competitors actually stand? Let's take a look at the final leaderboard. Drumroll, please. I really love this because it gets right to the heart of what we're doing here. We started with the exact same amount of money, we invested it at the exact same time, and yet the outcomes could not be more different. And there you have it. The share market, thanks to that huge rebound, has taken the lead. The savings account is right there behind it, holding its value and adding a tiny bit more. And the lottery? Well, the lottery is way, way behind, which just goes to show you the high cost of that high-risk hope, so far at least. But you know what? This race is far from over.
This is just an 8-week snapshot. The results from here on out could completely change everything.
So, will the market's volatility see it crash again, or is it going to keep climbing? And what about the lottery? I mean, all it takes is one lucky ticket to flip this entire experiment completely on its head.
So make sure you follow along as we keep tracking all the wins, the losses, and whatever surprises are still to come. Because one thing's for sure, when it comes to money, it is never boring. We'll see you for the next update.